I'm going to talk about a couple of things. I'm primarily going to start with how to start your overseas business, how to start your e-commerce business. And the first theme that we have, I want to discuss is the shift in business trends in 2020. So because of the pandemic and also because of other various factors in the global economy, a lot of things have changed. The way of doing business has changed. And I think a lot of people have already covered this topic before me as well. E-commerce is going to remain in the limelight. Brick and mortar probably will stumble for the next few months. So I think बहुत बढ़िया time है जो लोग अभी shift नहीं किए हैं brick and mortar से e-commerce में नहीं आए हैं उनके लिए बहुत बढ़िया time है. Of course brick and mortar is here to stay. ऐसा नहीं है कि दुकानें बंद हो जाएंगी, but e-commerce will definitely bring a lot of traction. Second global trend is Brexit. Should we be worried about Brexit? Brexit से क्या changes आएंगे Indian sellers के लिए? What are the things that you need to worry about? And the last trend I'm going to cover is shift away from previously established exporting countries. So some of these countries, Taiwan, China, Bangladesh, Turkey, in some countries they have experienced to an extent a little backlash. Especially UK has tried to stop all products being imported from Turkey. So do you guys think, is it the right time to go global? I personally think it is. And I'm pretty sure everyone, all the other panelists would also agree that this is the right time for an Indian e-commerce operator to start exploring options overseas. What all steps you need to follow? I saw this question in the chat also. A lot of people were asking how to start an e-commerce business. So I'll give you a quick couple of steps. So first of all, you probably want to establish your supply chain. Product kahan se kharidenge ya kahan se manufacture hoga. Second is you want to establish your sales channel. You have to pick up a marketplace. Will it be Amazon? Will it be Shopify? Will it be Unicommerce? Or will it be a combination of all three? Second would be you need to establish your logistics. So you need to have relations with DHL or Picker or other similar service providers जो आपका सामान एक country से दूसरे country तक लेके जाने वाले हैं. And also you need to get a payment service provider in place. So I think we have Payoneer today with us. You can reach out to them later after the session as well. And last is taking care of export-import compliance, taxation compliance, intellectual property in your target market. Again, I saw a lot of questions regarding brand registration and A+ content. So we will cover this as well later on in the presentation. What is VAT? VAT, a lot of you would probably already know about this. जैसे India में GST है, VAT is the name for GST in other countries. Primarily in Europe, that's what GST is called. Should you be worried about VAT? No, you don't need to be worried about. It's a very simple process, very simple logic as well. All you need to do is get yourself registered, file your taxes, pay your taxes, and you're good to go. Tax compliance. What are the documents required to register? Your basic KYC is required. Your proof of address, your identity, your PAN card, etc., GST certificate. Very basic documentation is required. Straightforward process, no complications at all. All right, so this is a snapshot of the taxation rates across the world in some of the major marketplaces: UK, Germany, Canada, UAE, Italy, Spain, France. Of course, the list is endless. I can give you probably twice the size of this list and a lot of other details also, but it's difficult to cover everything in the presentation here. Second point is customs compliance. So this is again something, this is a pain point for a lot of exporters. I think if you speak with DHL and Picker, I think they are the right people to help you. We as consultants will also be able to answer questions on how to get the customs process how to get it done smoothly. Some of the countries have imposed the requirement for an importer on record. So in US, to a certain extent, you might require importer on record. Germany will require it. Few other countries will require it. Some marketplaces will also insist on import documentation to be evidence. For example, Amazon insists that you give them the import entry number for any consignment sent to UK. The tax department will also ask for import documents as part of their ongoing compliance. So, which means if you're sending goods through personal courier, through sample mode, that's going to create a problem in the long run. So it's better for you to shift to CSV5, send through commercial consignments. There are benefits available to Indian exporters. There's MEIS, there's REC, there's a few other duty drawbacks, etc. Also, I can talk about them after the session in detail if anyone wants to discuss that. Sellers might be required to furnish IOR, EORI. Again, this is same as the first point that I've already covered. Intellectual property compliance. So this was a common theme that I saw in the chat. A lot of people were asking about brand registration, etc. It's very important to develop your intellectual property. If you have a brand and you don't want others to sell your kind of products, then it's very important for you to register your copyrights, your trademarks, your patents, etc. And if you sell someone else's products in a marketplace, you can probably get banned from the marketplace. I think Chand Ajmera from Shopify did mention that if you file a complaint, if someone has copied your images or your product, their shopfront can get closed down immediately. So trademark infringement may result in dire consequences, suspension, and even legal implications also. You should register your brand in the appropriate class of goods and the services trademark in the target market, not just in India, but the marketplace where you're selling, be it US, be it UK, be it Europe, etc. If you think someone is selling your kind of products or they are trying to copy your products, you should definitely file a case against them. You should oppose a trademark submission also, which is also misusing your intellectual property. Great. So now I come to Brexit, the big change. Probably a lot of people are worried about how will they trade in Europe after Brexit has come into the picture, but you guys don't need to worry about it. The only major change is the duties will change. If you are sending goods from India to Europe, it's pretty much going to be the same process as it was previously. The only change would be if you are shipping goods from within the European Union, from UK to Germany or UK to Spain. Only at that point will you be liable to pay additional duties, additional VAT. Other than that, there is pretty much no change about it. If any of you are curious to know about the duty rates, I think I saw one question regarding duties also. You can go to this website, lucrea.co.uk/UKGT-duty-rates. You will be able to find duty rates for all the 1,000 million products on our website itself. We've uploaded the entire database on our website. You can search using the product code, HSN code, or using the product name also. Great. So that was pretty much what I had to cover in my presentation. I've tried to keep it concise. I've tried to give you a very brief overview of how to start your business, how to run your business once you started it, what all compliances in terms of taxation, intellectual property, and customs do you need to worry about, do you need to take care about. I'm just going to quickly tell you about what all services we can offer you, what all countries, what all territories we cover. So we're a British tax consulting firm. We also have a branch based in US, and we have operations based in India as well. We have associates based in Germany, Australia, and a few other locations worldwide. All our team members are qualified chartered accountants, either from India or from UK or from other countries. We also have trademark experts, lawyers in our team as well. These are the territories that we cover within Europe. We have UK, Germany, and rest of the other European Union countries. Within US, we have US and Canada, Australia, India, Middle East. There are a few other countries, but because of lack of space, I could only give you the main countries. These are the services where Lucrea can help you overseas, outside of India. So we can help you in taxation, we can help you in intellectual property, we can help you in entity setup outside of India, we can help you in other miscellaneous compliances, and we can also help you in managing your returns and relabeling your product. Within taxation, you've got VAT, GST, return submission, audit, compliance, consulting, etc. Within intellectual property, we've got trademark registrations, objections, transfer of ownership, etc. Setting up a company, we can help you in US, UK, Europe, other locations. Other compliances, we've got IOR registration, EORI, CITES licenses, FDA licenses, GSE registration, IEC registration in India, MSME registration, etc. Returns management, we can offer a warehousing facility in US and UK. If you've got your product inventory stuck, you can send it to us. We will relabel it and send it back to your Amazon warehouse or any other warehouse where you want it delivered. Now coming to India, how can we help you in India? We've got service verticals in taxation, intellectual property, entity setup, and various other compliances. We can help in GST, ITR, scrutinies, refund of GST, etc. Intellectual property, again, trademark, response to office action, transfer of ownership, setting up a company, LLP formation, filing your tax accounts returns in India. Other compliances, MSME, IEC, GEM, FSSAI, DSE setup, PAN card, etc. Great. So that was pretty much what services we offer. This is just a brief about our company, our operations. We've got our Instagram handle, lucria.consult, and our website, lucria.co.uk. If any of you want to reach out to me, here are my contact details, my phone number, and my email ID. And I would like to open the stage for any questions.
Hi, Sumit. Few question pulling in. So, Saravanan wants to know how Brexit tax works for importers, maybe UK or the other countries to India.
Right. So Brexit, the only difference is that's going to impact you as an Indian seller, Indian exporter. The process is going to be pretty much the same. There are some additional things that you require. Is EORI registration is mandatory, VAT registration is mandatory. Once you send your goods to UK, and if you want to move from UK to Spain, Italy, France, other countries, you will have to pay duties. I can talk about this in detail. We have developed a 10-step methodology to follow the compliances. I can share with whoever asked the question. If they want to ping me or email me separately, I'll be happy to share this document with them.
Great. So Sumit, a small request would be great if you can just mention your handle, your email ID and your phone number in the chat room so the audience can get it from there.
Absolutely. I will do that right away.
So people, Sumit, my next question is, many of the exporters, those who are already, doing well earlier, but due to this COVID and this pandemic, they are actually in a bad shape and they are bleeding bad, right? So they now are focusing towards the e-commerce play. They do have got their stores. Either it is a company-owned stores or maybe partner-owned stores in US and UK and Europe. Now they would wanted to roll back to India with minimum of the limitations or maybe with a less dent. So do you think is how this practice is open to them, and does it feasible to roll back as of now, or maybe wait for 2-3 more months or maybe 6 months from now to get the situation better? And what decision is a wise decision in terms of cost?
I think this is actually the time to not supporting, or in fact, Bangladesh has the tech in Bangladesh is also suffering a lot. UK has banned imports from Turkey, especially gloves and masks and other.
Sumit, maybe some problem with the internet, mine or yours?
Sumit, your voice is breaking up actually.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're very audible now. Please continue.
Okay, so I think this is a very good time to expand globally, and not just in the number of countries you operate, but also in the number of marketplaces you operate. Pick up Magento, pick up Lazada, pick up all the other portals that Unicommerce works with, and not just expand vertically, but horizontally also in terms of countries and marketplaces, because there's going to be backlash on China. So all of you who were competing against China, you have the upper hand now.
Sure.
Also, all of you were
Yeah, Sumit.
hand now, because imports from Europe will also.
So Sumit, China is also, lifting their boom barriers in few categories. For per se, herbal being one of them. Then beauty products are second. Then cosmetics are third. In which China is also, lifting up the boom barriers. Do you think that is still a lucrative place for the Indian sellers to go and sell their products in China, maybe on JD or other top five marketplaces and portal selling in China? And how would the legal limitations?
So very much again, a new trend that I've noticed is that of course US and Europe is a big market for Indian exporters in terms of cosmetics, creams, herbal products, etc. Southeast Asia is also quite strong. In fact, Korea is quite strong. Of course, Korea have their own manufacturing in place, and it's difficult to enter the market. But if you can enter the Korean market, that's a huge market for cosmetics. I think, Mobashir, correct me if I'm wrong, but you do have tie-ups with marketplaces in Korea as well, right? South Korea?
Not exactly, but yes, with few, not with all.
Okay. So I think one way to enter the Korean market would be through Unicommerce, because it's very difficult to enter the South Korean market as a standalone company. But if Unicommerce can, give you the entry, I think nothing like it. Or the other way around also, you could also probably import products from Korea and then export it to the rest of the world, because Korean product very good in terms of quality when we talk about, especially about cosmetics and, creams, etc.
Sure. So Sumit, let me quickly step into the shoes of a new seller who is actually doing really well with the Indian domestic markets, and just to mince more money in terms of the higher profitability, and wanted to expand his wings because India seems to be a bit competitive market, right? Commissions and price wars is one thing which is still people wanted to look for better profits and better margins. So people are, going cross borders, and they are not limiting themselves within the boundaries. So, which is the best market to opt for, whereby the legal formalities are quite less, and it's the entry points are not that stone heavy, apart from US and Europe. So, what is the
Okay.
second pick? Maybe GCC country, or entire Middle East Asia, or maybe Southeast Asia to start off with: Singapore, Philippines, Vietnam,
Right.
Malaysia, and Indonesia. Which is your second pick? Whereby the
I,
investment is also less, and documentation is also not that level.
I was actually going to say US, but then again, you already excluded US and Europe from the list. I think Southeast Asia is a very strong market, but also it's very product specific. Like certain products would do very well in Japan, for example, probably cotton bed sheets or some other similar kind of products are quite hot in Japan, but they might not be as popular in Vietnam. Australia has a very strong Indian community, so pretty much everything sent to Australia will sell very quickly, and also because the Australian market is still not penetrated as yet. It's very nascent, very new. Amazon is pretty new to Australia also, so I think there's a lot of scope of growth in Australia in terms of the Indian products being sold. But yeah, to summarize, I think. Probably Vietnam would be a very strong market. Singapore is also going to be strong, although it's a very small country. There's hardly any clients, any buyers over there. But otherwise, I think they have a very good capacity to consume goods. The amount of money they earn and the amount of money they spend online is very decent as compared to Indian standards. So I think Australia and probably Vietnam and Singapore, these three would be.
Myself, Mubashir, I just wanted to add something related to Seller App. That Seller App is a great partner to us, and we really work really well in a close proximity, especially when it is coming down to Southeast Asia and Indian markets. And Seller App dedicatedly work towards the larger ecosystem and helping out majorly with the Amazon sellers and Walmart sellers. So over to you, Nitin, to add up and take it from here.
Hey, that's perfect actually. Thanks, Mubashir, and thanks, Anubhav. So I think that like they've introduced, Seller App is a platform. We also have some services to help primarily Amazon and Walmart e-commerce sellers. So we have a specific tool. So let me just quickly share my screen. Right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's perfectly visible, Mithun.
Perfect. So a Seller App is basically it's an Amazon approved e-commerce platform. So we have multiple tools and features that will help sellers to kind of analyze their products and do a complete thorough product research, to optimizing their listings, to managing their Amazon advertising itself. So it's like an end-to-end tools even for small sellers or new sellers. In fact, if you don't have a product that you want to or you want to actually do some kind of a product research and identify the kind of products that are trending on Amazon, or the kind of products that are viable to sell on Amazon, especially in the US marketplace. I think this is a tool that we've got close to around 30 million products that we've already keep updating the data, and we give you different metrics on what kind of performance metrics they have in terms of selling, the competition that is there, the demand, the supply for that particular product on Amazon. So we work with a lot of big clients as well as agencies across the globe, primarily those selling in the Amazon US marketplace. We've expanded recently to all the English speaking marketplaces as well, like Amazon Canada, UK, Mexico, Australia, India as well, and any other English speaking marketplace. So so we have primarily two things. One is, you have, of course, as Anubhav mentioned, it's a self-service platform with multiple tools that will help you optimize your listings and do your own research. It's got tools that will help you slice and dice the data that is present on our platform. And then we have another managed services where we do the listing optimization, we do the reports for you, we do the market analysis for new marketplaces, as well as we manage your entire PPC campaigns on Amazon. So today we'll primarily be talking about how Seller App is going to help new sellers. So we'll be breaking this up into two things. One is, of course, to understand what are the challenges that common regular sellers face or when they sell on Amazon. This is actually generally common to any e-commerce space, right? So you have excessive competition between brands. You need to understand the listings. You need to understand what kind of a keyword is working for you uh, in the platform. So it's kind of a more to do with the SEO itself, because you're competing. Your product is competing against millions of sellers as well as millions of products on Amazon. So you need to be on top of the page in terms of being visible to the customers. So there's a lot of complexity involved. It's quite simple, but then it's still complex at the same time, because you may not get the right data, or you may not get the right information to kind of put into your listing. So listing, when I mean to say, is it talks about the title, the bullet points, and the description that you have under the product pages on Amazon. So a lot of times we have customers who just fill up the complete listing and the bullet points with a lot of keywords that kind of doesn't make sense to the customers as well, because it's just a bunch of words. But then ideally we should be looking at having high search volume keywords, and having them structured in a proper way, that whereby you're explaining your product to the customer, because end of the day, it's an online platform. People do not get to feel the product. There's no touch and feel that happens on an e-commerce website. So you need to be able to articulate and define what your product is well, and articulate it correctly, so that the consumers understand what the product is and they get what they're looking for. And then you also have a lot of competition in terms of sellers selling products. So since it's an open platform, you have multiple sellers selling similar products. So then what do? So you have multiple challenges in terms of ensuring your product is reaching out to those customers who you want to reach out to. So addressing primarily these two problems, Seller App has come up with this plethora of tools of sorts to identify, to kind of address these particular problems. So where do we start, right? So even if you have something to do with, to start off with identifying a product to sell on Amazon, you have a complete product research tool. You can slice and dice the data that you want, depending on the metrics that you want to analyze, and you want to see what are the top selling products. You want to see what are the products that are being sold in a particular price range or a price bracket. You want to understand and understand what are the pain points that customers are facing with the existing products. So you have this tool where you can just filter out the results based on the ratings and reviews. So the lower the ratings, you can analyze those products. You can see what are the different problems a particular product is facing. You can go and in fact do a reverse engineering to better optimize those products and launch it on Amazon. So there are multiple metrics, and it's a very robust tool in the sense that you can choose the kind of research that you want based on multiple filters that you can apply on the platform. Then you have, once let's suppose you have a product ready, now you'd like to understand on Amazon, the platform, on the Amazon platform, where is it that you're positioned? How is your existing product performing in terms of the entire category or in terms of in the subcategory? So you have these product insights and product intelligence tools within the platform, which tells you where your product is positioned in the entire plethora of products that are available on Amazon. Is it so you can identify where your product is exactly ranked based on keyword. You can understand what is the ranking of your product on Amazon's category listings. So different tools that will make life a lot more easier, especially if you have to do a lot of analysis, because it gets a little difficult and challenging to kind of spend time on Amazon and then do the analysis and do the research on in terms of your competition or in terms of the category itself. So that kind of is eased out using our platform, because you can put in, all you have to do is just add those products, and then we'll compare the data. That's about it. So you don't have to go running through a lot of pages. It's all there in one place. Then once you have the product and you understand, now you have understood the listing of, you've kind of understood where your product is positioned on Amazon. What next? That comes to it's all about selling on Amazon. So you have this completely. So the advertising console in our platform is, I think, one of the best. It's got its own AI algorithms that run through your Amazon campaigns, advertising campaigns. It kind of figures out what is working, what is not working within your campaigns, and it automatically gives you suggestions on what actions to take. So the best part over here is it doesn't take the actions automatically. It gives you insights and suggestions on how you can optimize your campaigns. So end of the day, you have complete control on what is working and what is not working. This is extremely crucial because no system can just look at the product and give you complete relevant keywords or relevant search terms. So at the end of the day, there's always a limitation in terms of the system trying to analyze what kind of search terms and keywords are working for you. So what we've done is, instead of automating the tool, we've given you the control. We give you the insights in the campaign manager, and then all you have to do is just click of a button. You can take actions and optimize your complete Amazon advertising campaigns on Amazon. So it's directly linked. All you have to do is just connect your Amazon MWS with and the PPC with our platform, and then it'll start analyzing end to end completely at a search term level. That's the most granular analysis you can do for any campaign. So it analyzes at a search term level, gives you different metrics as to why we've suggested that to be something that's not working or something that's working, and then you can end of the day take the decisions at the click of a button. So this is a kind of a sneak peek of sorts into the platform itself. This is the campaign manager, where we kind of give you control in terms of managing the campaigns from the platform itself. You've got multiple metrics and insights that give you the trends of how the sales are happening at a campaign level, at an ad group level. I'm assuming, of course, that at least part of our participants over here would know what we're talking about when it comes to advertising on Amazon. So going by that assumption, I would continue talking about how this tool is going to make it a lot more easier to manage your campaigns using Seller App instead of using Seller Central. You've got different metrics. It's not just about looking at impressions and clicks and how much revenue you made, how much spend you made. There are a lot of different metrics that, like the conversion rate, to trying to understand what is the trends of the conversion rate, because a lot of times people come back to us and say sales have come down. But then what's important is to look at how well those keywords are converting in terms of getting orders for every click. Because if that conversion rate is good, then automatically most of your other metrics is taken care of and your campaigns are performing healthy. Also at an impression level, at a sales level, and at an ACoS level, or at a spend level, we give you trends in terms of how you've been spending over a period of time, or how you've been earning how your orders have been coming in over a period of time. So you can take necessary actions, and the insights are just there at just a click of a button. You don't have to change. You don't have to continuously change those timelines. You don't have to continuously change metrics and campaigns. You can just hover your mouse over a particular campaign, and it gives you details and it gives you trend lines in terms of how the campaigns have been performing. So that's a very interesting feature, because someone who's been working constantly on optimizing these campaigns, usually you look at trends. You don't just look at a day's data or 2 days data. You look at a trend of over a 7-day period or a 14-day period. So that is there right in front of you at just by hovering your mouse over those campaigns. So it makes it a lot easier to understand and focus on campaigns that you need some work to happen on, focus on where you need to really utilize your time and energy to optimize certain campaigns. You don't have to run through all the campaigns. You just have to hover your mouse, see the trends, and understand which campaign you need to really focus on immediately. And then I was talking to you about the entire product intelligence section. So this is a screenshot of our platform where we tell you, for a specific keyword, we will tell you which position your product is ranking on for any particular keyword on Amazon's search page. So this is extremely important to understand what kind of keywords you need to target in your advertising campaigns also, because end of the day, what is important for any seller is to ensure that his product is ranked on the top of the page in any search, for any search key or search term. Because we've seen it as a customer search behavior. People usually don't go past the second or the third page. Ideally, they just look at the first page. If they don't like the products, they just change the search term, and they change the way they search for the product. So it's very important that we understand where we have a product position for keywords that are relevant to our product in multiple combinations and permutations and combinations, right? So this platform allows you to track all the positions for all the search terms in one page. You don't have to go running through Amazon, typing the keyword on Amazon and understanding and finding a product on Amazon, because here you just, all you have to do is just add that particular search term that you're looking at, understanding where your product is ranked on, and we do the pulling of data for you, and we put it in front of you saying, okay, you know what, these are the keywords that you position in page 1, and in page 1 this is where you position your product is positioned at. Also, another beautiful thing is, of course, the listing quality, which so our platform analyzes the products that you added into our platform and gives you a listing score of sorts. So it'll tell you where are the areas that you need are there enough bullet points to kind of describe your product? Is the title sufficiently using the keywords required to be used to describe your product? So it's got multiple factors. It analyzes and then gives you a scoring based out of 100. So if anything below 80 is supposed to be anything below 80 is supposed to be bad, and if anything greater than 80 is supposed to be really good. So best part is it does not just only give you a rating of sorts, a scoring of sorts. It also gives you areas of improvement. It tells you exactly where to focus on and where to really address the problem to ensure you have a perfect listing, so that organically your sales start improving. Now, one other quick thing I'd like to understand. Okay. So this is also another free tool that we have. All you have to do is go to Seller. Just Google Seller App, Amazon search term PPC audit tool. So this is a fantastic tool. Even before you come to us, the tool is available for free. All you have to do is upload your Amazon search term, advertising search term report, put a target ACoS for you, and the tool will analyze the performance of your campaigns instantaneously. You don't have to run through or go to anybody. You don't have to speak to anybody. Just upload your search term report, and we will analyze key metrics in terms of how your campaigns are performing, how many campaigns are automatic campaigns, how many manual campaigns, how are the keywords performing, what are the different match type analysis that are required to be done. So it's all there. So that's a fantastic tool. You should probably try it out definitely before even you use any other platform, right? So just to quickly summarize, right? So we have multiple tools, but if you look at the buckets, primarily there are around 5 buckets where we talk about product intelligence and market research, where you would be analyzing your products. Again, you would be understanding your competitors. You can track your competitor product, understand where they're positioned for the same keywords that you would like to be positioned for. we have we have an SEO and listing optimization service also as well, where you can do the complete keyword research. It gives you multiple combinations of the keywords that you are researching on. So if, let's say for example, let's say for example, trash bags. If you put for trash bags, so many a times alternatives that come up are, trash bags for home, trash bags for parties. These are the different kinds of search terms that we usually see when we're doing a keyword research. Many a times we miss out on synonyms. Trash bags can also be called as garbage bags. So we've developed this fantastic keyword research tool that gives you not only related keywords but also synonyms that are related to the word. Of course, it's I would say it's probably 92% accurate, because many a times contextually the words differ, and since it's just it's a system, it's not a person, we might miss out on those few synonyms that may be relevant, and you might see certain times where you might see irrelevant keywords also popping up in the keyword research, but we've seen it to be 92% accurate. So that's a fantastic place to be at right now, and our internal tech team has done a fantastic job in optimizing the entire algorithm that does the keyword research also for you. Apart from doing the entire keyword research for you, we have our own we provide the listing optimization service as well, where we do the entire keyword research, so we do the entire competitor research that is required, and we give you a beautiful listing, including the title, the bullet points, the description, the A+ content as well. Of course, you have a sales dashboard as well. That's one more crucial thing. So apart from your product intelligence, your campaign manager, your product research, we have a profit and inventory management tool also. It's fantastic because you can set up multiple alerts at a product level. It's at the most granular level. At an SKU level, you can set up alerts to inform you if you're running low on stock, if there are negative reviews that anyone's left for you on Amazon, if your listing is hacked on Amazon by other sellers. I've already spoken to you about the PPC advertising, and apart from these alerts that you can set at an inventory level, you also have business alerts and monitoring tools that are present, where you can set up multiple alerts at a product level. You can check for reviews when someone puts a negative review or a positive review. You can set up buy box alerts, again price alerts, rating alerts. Price alerts is very interesting because, let's say for example, you have a competitor, and you guys are priced at similar range, right? Suddenly one fine day you notice that your sales have dropped down, your average daily sales have dropped down. And we've come to see that many a times, especially when you have close competitors selling at similar price ranges, one of the reasons your sales drop is also because your competitors might have probably reduced the prices, and we probably won't know that until it's too late. So you can set up price alerts for your competitor products as well, wherein you get a notification every time there's a price drop or a price change, in fact, amongst your competitors as well. So that's something that's fantastic, because you can not only optimize your own products, you can also be on top of your competitor products, and that's all about business. You need to be on top of everything to ensure that you have the perfect sales. This is just to give you an overview of what the Amazon marketing funnel is, generally for everyone out there. So marketing, it's basically about reaching out to people, making sure people know about your product, irrespective of what, because there are millions of products out there, millions of sellers out there. So if you look at outside of Amazon, there are two primary ways of advertising outside of Amazon to kind of divert sales from outside to your Amazon page itself. You have the OTT, you have DSP and display ads, which are different platforms where you can advertise out on different online websites of your users. It could be Instagram, it could be your regular websites, it could be Facebook advertising, multiple. All these are called outside of Amazon. So this is kind of create an awareness and interest of sorts to ensure someone who's looking for that advertisement, if they're interested, they come back to Amazon and then look at your product. And it's all about trying to reach out to as many people as possible to ensure they know about your product and are curious to buy your product and know your product. So that's the kind of where you're trying to create an awareness, saying that this is a product that's available on Amazon, and then you pique their interest through this different display ads that focus on you telling that this is available on Amazon. Many a times, I think now with the pandemic and with everything that's going on, I think there is a renewed amount of trust towards products being sold on Amazon rather than different own websites, because it's just got that, it's built over the trust in terms of, you know, Amazon having those strict guidelines and ensuring the right quality and the products are delivered on time, stuff like that. So people have this kind of a trust factor built around Amazon products. So it's very important to so that kind of helps, it kind of helps to advertise through Amazon's DSP as well, to ensure that, you know, people get notified that, you know, this product is available to be sold on Amazon. Once that is done, people, then you have different kind of sponsored ads available within Amazon itself. You have brand ads, you have video ads, you have sponsored product ads, and all these basically focusing on channeling all those viewers and all those possible buyers to your display page and your listing page to ensure that they kind of get converted into a sale. Now I'd like to just probably briefly again kind of give you a refresher of sorts of where we can help you improve your where we can help you with your Amazon sales. Like I mentioned, primarily there are two different buckets. One is the self-service and one is the managed services. Self-service is the consulting service where you get access to the platform, you get access to all the tools available. There is no restriction. So once you get the tool, you have all the tools available at your disposal. You have the product research, you have the keyword research, you have the different dashboards, the entire advertising management console, and of course we are coming up with advertising automation as well, where, like I mentioned, it's not completely automated. You still have control over what's working, what's not working in the campaigns. Apart from this, we have the managed services where we do the product category market research for you, depending on or depending on which location you want us to do the research on. We have this listing optimization. We have an in-house listing content team who do the keyword research for you. They do the competitor research for you, and they prepare these beautiful listings that can just be copy pasted onto onto the Amazon platform. We do advertising audit reports. Apart from the tool, we do you can also come to us for doing a thorough granular analysis of your advertising. We do the entire Amazon advertising management for you on Amazon. So all you have to do is just give us access to your Seller Central, and then we will take care of all the campaigns. We will decide on the strategy depending on the pricing, depending on your goals. You'll have a dedicated account manager who will be in touch with you, giving you timely updates as to what's happening in the account and giving you those timely monthly reports and bi-monthly reports as well. Yeah, I think that's about it. If you have any questions, you can ask them. And I think currently we are running an offer where usually the platform is available for trial only for a week, but then since it's the Q4 season, this is the best. This is the most happening season for all Amazon sellers, because it's like you have it's the biggest time for all the sellers to make the market, to make the business. So we've kind of extended a trial period to a month. So all you have to do is just go to the Seller platform and then request for the 1 month trial, and we shall be kind of enabling that from the backend as well.
Thank you, Nitin. So two quick questions coming in.
Yeah.
One, how it is different than Amazon advertising platforms which provides similar data and trends?
Okay, so Amazon's data is, so our platform gives you an insights in terms of trends. Like I mentioned, for you to understand and analyze trends within Amazon, you need to change manual dates. You need to go into the campaign. Here, you don't have to go, because all you have to do is just hover your mouse on the campaign manager page itself, and it will give you trends. It's got certain other metrics that are different from what's available on Amazon. And the best part, of course, is we have this entire campaign manager insights tool, which analyzes your Amazon's campaigns, and it gives you insights of what's working and what's not working. It gives you at a search term level, it tells you, you know what, you can go ahead and mark the search term negative on your campaigns. I'm assuming, you know, the person who asked this question is aware of what Amazon advertising is. So I'll go a little technical over here. So in Amazon, what you have to, you know, there are multiple ways of optimizing campaigns, and there are different metrics you look at and analyze and study before you take an action on whether you need to add that as a positive keyword or a negative keyword. When I mean positive, of course, moving it from one match type to another. So our platform does all that for you. It analyzes your campaigns and it gives you suggestions, multiple suggestions. It gives you negative keyword suggestions. It gives you bid optimization suggestions. It gives you match type suggestions as well. So these are insights that are popped up in front of you on the platform. All you have to do is just click the button, and then the actions taken. That's something that's not available on Seller Central.
Thank you. The next question coming in: does Seller app works for Amazon India and Amazon US only? Uh, First part. Second part: do you also really help with the other shopping carts like Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, and many more?
Right. So currently the platform is available only for the US marketplace, but the managed services is available for all India marketplaces. So it could be Amazon UK, Canada, India as well. So managed services, like I mentioned, it's about the listing optimization, the campaign management. That's all available for any English-speaking Amazon marketplace. And coming to the other e-commerce spaces, I think currently we are only open for Amazon and Walmart. We just, in fact, a couple of months back, we started Walmart. We've been getting some data and we've been working on certain clients. In fact, that also came out of a request from our existing clients who wanted us to manage their campaigns on Walmart. So then we just decided to finally look into that and started expanded into Walmart as well.
Thank you, Nitin. The next question coming in is a seller wanted to know what are the best categories whereby there's less competition and they can sell well within the limited marketing budget. So the category maybe what they're looking forward to is apart from fashion and apart from fashion and accessories, what are the other categories which is really picking up well?
So currently, if you have to go by the trend, I think there's a reversal of sorts that's happening. So earlier to COVID, I think the trend was different, but now we've clearly seen a shift from, like I think Sumedh mentioned earlier, there's a clear shift from brick and mortar store to e-commerce. So currently, there is a big scope for any category. You can just launch into Amazon, like you can launch into e-commerce using any category. Earlier, it used to be probably limited slightly. In fact, we had our own reservations when we started taking up certain accounts, and for example, the hardware category. And we've seen tremendous growth in every category. Across categories, we've seen growth. Of course, there are ups and downs, but then if you need a more thorough analysis on kind of what kind of detailed products that you want, category would be a little challenging right now because we've seen sales pick up across categories. So maybe at a product level, you could use our product research tool to understand what are the products that are trending right now and what's good to sell on Amazon right now.
Okay. So the next question for you coming up is, so the manufacturer and the trader both are selling on Amazon, right? And irrespective of the fact that manufacturer can give you the dirt cheap price and with the fastest delivery, then do you think there's some mechanism or a tool or some marketing strategy or some promotional plan through which the trader can establish himself and can get good orders coming in?
Absolutely, right. So I don't think, like, if you look at the general trend of sellers on Amazon, not everybody is a manufacturer, and you have a lot of times where manufacturers are selling products along with their distributors on Amazon. And there is this set understanding between the seller and the manufacturer. In this case, let's call them distributor and the manufacturer, right? So that's an understanding you have to have with your manufacturer. Otherwise, it gets a little challenging, to be honest, because it might hit your buy box percentage on Amazon, because end of the day you might be sharing the same listing, because Amazon doesn't allow you to have the same listing. Like, it doesn't allow you to have two different listings for the same product. So and there are a lot of metrics that go into you getting the buy box percentage higher to retain that buy box per se. So I think it all comes down to the kind of relationship you have with your manufacturer. Obviously, a manufacturer would have other avenues of selling the product. He may not be concentrating a lot on the Amazon space only, or only the digital e-commerce space. So I believe it all comes down to how you discuss with your how you discuss the pricing with the manufacturer.
Cool. So coming in from the perspective, so this is one thing which we have received couple of times from multiple people in multiple summits. So during this COVID, a lot of people have lost their jobs. So they are, searching hard for the livelihoods, and those who are working still looking for an option because of the uncertainty prevailing in or maybe coming up in near future, right? So the people are exploring marketplaces or e-commerce business to one of the avenues to protect their livelihood or maybe to safeguard their kitchen. So people are still struggling and unable to identify the best practices around e-commerce, how to identify that what is the best pricing policy for them, what is the app price which they should pitch in for multiple marketplaces, how to compete with the marketplaces, because this is a strategy of a buyer that the buyer flock around for the best price. So if he's getting the best price on Flipkart, he'll go and buy it from the Flipkart, irrespective of the fact maybe the Flipkart can charging a lesser commission. Hence, the buyer is giving Flipkart at maybe, for example, X marketplace at cheaper price, and maybe Y marketplace or maybe Amazon at a higher price, right? So how to compete with that, and what is the best practice so that the seller can keep a unanimous price across all marketplaces, just to ensure that if his buyer is flocking around to other marketplaces, he's not losing on to competition, and he's finding the app same price across all marketplace.
I think that's
How
a
to
very
work on.
interesting, yeah, that's a very interesting question. And honestly speaking, I think that's a question that needs a lot of thought, uh, and it all comes down to numbers. It all comes down to the supply chain, the overheads, the logistics, and the seller is the best person to arrive at that pricing. And in terms of strategy, I believe it's best to keep the pricing constant across the e-commerce, any e-commerce marketplace, because you know it could. Let's take for example Amazon. Amazon's got this robust system of identifying prices on other marketplaces, on other e-commerce platforms, not marketplaces per se, but other e-commerce platforms. And anytime it sees a lower priced, it sees your product being charged lower in any other marketplace, it kind of flags it within Amazon, and you're supposed to match that lowest price. And I think the person who's asking this question might be aware that Amazon does charge quite high in terms of the Amazon referral fees and the Amazon fees, but then it's not worth competing against them when it comes to pricing. So it's best we have a unanimous price, like a uniform price across different e-commerce platforms.
Sure. So two questions on the same line. Uh, a new seller wanted to start selling simultaneously while working for his job, uh, and he's looking forward to adapt. Maybe wanted to select from two categories. One is kitchen equipments, second is speakers, and third is toys, stuffed toys. So what is the best category in the longer run, and maybe can it picks up well and is unresponsive to this weathering change which is coming on, maybe COVID or maybe a seasonal change, or it can be sellable across with less competition?
That's an interesting question, because that if anyone's got the mantra for that kind of a product, then I think everyone's going to flock into that category, to be honest. It's challenging. I think every category has its own challenges, it's got its own ups and downs, and that's the entire kick you have in running a business, right? Because there's never a product that consistently gets sales. Like, who knew hand sanitizers and face masks could be such a big business in 2020? Turns out there's making billions out of that particular category, which was probably just a small percentage before COVID hit. So there's always going to be ups and downs. So identifying is, I think, what's more important is if I think taking your example of someone who's doing his business, who's working and then trying to get into business, I think what's important is they understand what they're passionate about. They understand and see what products they are interested in. Because if you're doing something just for the heck of it and just killing time or kind of having a side income, that never becomes success. But if you have identified a product that you're really passionate about, you'll work on making a unique product in that line, irrespective of the category. You'll end up being successful in that particular business because you would have created something unique out of your own passion. And it could be something that's already there, but then the fact that you've been working on it and you're passionate about it will make you think on how you can make your how you can position your product uniquely amongst the other products that are there. Otherwise, it's just about buying a product from somewhere, sourcing it from someone else, and selling it. You lose interest, and I think that's not. I don't think that's the right way to do it. Being an ex-entrepreneur myself, I don't think that's a good way to go about that.
Sure. So one simple piece of advice which you would like to give it to the existing sellers who are selling in India and would like to expand to cross borders? What are the top 5 picks or maybe the top 5 parameters which you would like to advise them? Maybe have a double check before entering into that market.
I think we've had a lot of webinars over the last couple of months, especially focusing on this cross-border e-commerce, and I think now is a really good time. It's opened up a lot of eyes for even regular brick-and-mortar store sellers, who've been reluctant to enter into the e-commerce. What's important is, I think I'll just give you generic things, because rest of it everybody can talk about it. There are a lot of articles about it, but what's important is you're passionate about that product. When you enter the marketplace, you have to do definitely a thorough research, because let's say, for example, you're selling quilts, and you wouldn't be selling quilts in maybe in Europe, in an equatorial country, or in a desert place. So there should be some common sense in identifying what product you're selling and which marketplace you're trying to reach out to, right? Apart from that, it's all about trying to reach out to multiple. I think Amazon is a perfect example, right? It makes life a lot more easier to any kind of a new seller or an existing seller to sell on multiple, to sell in multiple countries. Earlier, it used to be, you have to identify someone who would be ready to buy your product. You have to set up a base in different countries, and then source the product over, send it, ship it over there, and then wait for that product to be sold. Over here now with Amazon's global selling, it makes life a lot more easier to kind of enter. So you can always test the waters even before you enter full time into that particular marketplace. All you have to do is just enable and log into that global selling platform, and then you have your own. You can test the waters and sell products from India itself to different marketplaces. And then depending on how the response is coming out from there, you can then decide on actually sending your product to the Amazon's warehouses for those respective countries.
Thanks
I think what's important is you can use our own platform to understand, especially for the US marketplace. You can do the product research before you get into all that. But otherwise, it's all about being passionate about what you do and understand which product you're really interested to get into. The rest of it just follows.
Thanks a lot, Nitin. Thanks a lot. Means a lot to us. This has really added a lot of value to all our listeners, and I'm sure they'll be having a lot more takeaways for them, which will really, if act upon, will turn around the tables for them completely. Thanks a lot, Nitin. Thanks, Q, for